What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Affairs of the Heart live broadcast. It's Thursday night. It's your boy DQ, and this way. I was the wrong way.
Airing on this podcast.
Well, we are here, and it has been a rough day for both of us. We have been working really hard.
I feel like I look red.
You look red?
I look red.
Are you blushing? What's going on?
No, I don't know. I think it was the light.
Lord. As you can tell, we're your boys from the Affairs of the Heart podcast. Make sure you check out the Affairs of the Heart podcast.com for all your podcast needs and platforms where you can find us. Check out our show. We've got merch and so much more information. Check out our YouTube channel, which we are live on YouTube right now. We're also live on Twitter and Facebook. And so if you want to hear relationships and sex from a Black gay male's perspective, we are your boys. So welcome to Thursday nights with us. We do it live. We'll record our podcast during the week, and then we will release it on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how we feel. And then we do the live podcast right here in front of you. So you can participate in the conversation, get to know us, join us, and we're ready to get started. So Aaron, anything else you want to say? Say it again.
This is like our version of Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
Yes. So watch what happens as we have our drinks. We are ready. Where's your drink, Aaron? Because I know you got one.
Here.
Right. Cheers, friend.
Cheers.
All right. What's up, Jay? Jay says, "What's up?"
Hey, Jay.
So we're glad to have you. You can join in the conversation. So any topics that we're talking about, we want you to comment, like, subscribe, share, and tell us what your thoughts are on the topic of the conversation.
And if you're
in the comment section.
Oh, and if you're commenting on social media, make sure you are hashtagging AOTH podcast so that I will get notifications. I think if you go on Twitter or on Instagram, that way we can kind of respond to whatever you guys have going on, and then you have the way they can respond in the chat, right?
Yep. So you're going to hashtag if you're commenting via Twitter or YouTube or Facebook. Make sure you hashtag AOTH podcast. And then also, if you are commenting on Facebook specifically, you have to give StreamYard permission to post your comments. And there's a link in the description of the post from this live so that you can give them permission to post your comments so we know who you are. All right, Aaron, you ready to get started? Anything you want to? Did I miss anything?
I don't think you missed
ready to go. All right, let's do it. We always start out, if you're familiar with our podcast, we always start out with relationship discussions. And so we'll dive right into our relationship topics for this week. First topic, you want to read that for me, Aaron?
Whenever I hear where it starts at.
Where the space is. There we go.
All right, here we go.
Why? There we go.
Yeah. Why are some of you so scared of people that really like you and express that to you? Do you think we are accustomed to dysfunctional chemistry? Oh, that was it.
That's a good one.
And I think we kind of segue into this onto the podcast. But why are you afraid of people who actually like you? Is basically
that's a very interesting. Yeah, that second question though, dysfunctional chemistry. That's kind of deep.
So let's start from the first part and let's work our way to that one, right? So
all right.
I will say this. So I think that, we talked about me and my new relationship on this podcast a lot. And this is really kind of something that I dealt with because when he actually hit me up on social media, I automatically started thinking like, well, who is this? Why is he hit me up? I did not automatically think like he's attracted to me. Let me figure out what this is. You know what I mean? The things that I went through was he looks like he's short.
What? So you just pegged him to be short?
I did. Automatically I did. And I told him that actually when we actually met. But it was like, I was like, is he short? I didn't know if he was and so it was like, I didn't want to set it up.
You had to whisper that.
But
what's up, Wesley?
I had to really think about these things because I'm like, I don't want to waste, his time. So I kind of, well, we tell the story two different ways. He says that he hit me up, and
Of course.
and I ignored him. But really, I didn't. I think I had to process and went through his stuff, because the first thing he said to me was he went through my social media and realized I didn't have a man, right? Well, I'm like, you didn't get me time to go through your social media. So,
That's kind of embarrassing. He don't have no man, so I'm gonna hit him up.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, I liked it because I feel like he was being respectful.
Right.
So,
I could say from that perspective.
So when he said that, I'm like, let me go through your social media. So I think while he thought that I was automatically turning him down, I took my time to go through his social media.
Okay.
And I still had red flags. Like, I mean, he looks very short. I don't know if this is going to work sexually. And so
you look real short. So for those that are listening, Aaron has a height. I mean, Aaron is tall. Aaron is a fairly tall person.
Yeah, I'm like
so
5'11" and 6 foot.
Right. So you need somebody that's going to be 6 foot or taller.
Especially if you're topping me.
Okay. Anybody shorter than 5'11", you can't. It's like you need a step stool to get up to the moon.
You don't have to be like my height. You could be a few feet shorter, but I'm not trying to be with someone who's like 5'5", 5'4", with brown eyes, smiling.
Goodbye. So, all right. So, back to the question: Are you scared of people that really like you? Mm-hmm. And express that to you? Like, I don't think, even from my perspective, I don't think it depends on the energy that you get from people too. Because if you get somebody that's kind of like a creeper and they're doing a little too much of the, I like you, I think you're great. Yeah, don't like pictures from 1998. Like, come on. I think it just depends on the energy, because there's a way to approach people, because you do get a lot of people. I'm sure that this is a mass issue. You get a lot of people in your inbox that are kind of creepers to a degree, where they're just like, I wonder what, you look like doing, just some weird conversation. No, hello, how you doing? No, how's your day going? None of that.
I think a lot of it is like talk about old guys, right?
There's some young creepers too.
We're only out here on this limb, it's Watson.
I mean, I don't want to offend anybody.
For me, it's always like some older guys that's like, I'll quote this so that way it's not what I'm saying, right? So a lot of times people post on social media, it's crazy because the people who have nothing to lose always in your inbox.
Yes. Now we have a comment from one of our listeners. What's up, Brandon? If you haven't listened to Brandon and his music, he's a great artist, by the way. But yes, there are definitely some young creepers. Yes, there are.
I've never met any young creepers.
So for you, it's all the old guys.
Oh, yes, and a lot of times they're white, and it's like I don't know how you found me.
My favorite is the I say the same message you get from most people that creep you, like the sugar daddy message. I'm willing to pay you $100.
But those aren't really real, though, are they?
You don't know. They're creepers.
Yeah. I never thought those were real. So.
Okay, so are you scared? So, okay, for example, for your situation, were you scared to have the initial conversation with him at first?
I just didn't have it because I'm just like, I don't know how you found me, first of all. 2, you like everything since I started my Facebook page. 3, you're in my inbox all the time and I don't respond to it, anything. and you just keep on, hey, how you doing, beautiful? You look amazing. I love you. I want to get to know you. I want to take you out. Do you have a husband? Do you have a wife? Are you on the down low? Are you out? Are you bisexual? Are you gay? Are you LGBTQIA plus? Which one are you? Like, it's so many things that they ask in one setting that it overloads you.
It's a little overwhelming. Yes. Yes. It is very overwhelming. I think that there should be a model after, like, just start a regular conversation. Like, why does it have to be, especially people that come to you and ask you, are you a top or bottom? Just flat out. You didn't ask me how I'm doing. You didn't ask me how my day is. You didn't ask me anything about me in particularly. You just asked me about a sexual position. So that tells me right off the bat that you.
But for me personally, I don't mind that.
You don't know. I mind that.
Yeah,
because you didn't even ask about me. You asked me about especially if I'm not even sexually attracted to you. Like, we haven't even gotten to that point. You just said, are you a top or bottom? Based upon the picture you saw that you found attractive.
Right.
Next. I can't deal.
Right. First of all, if you're gonna ask me all this stuff, my Cash App is
right. $. Right. Like, come on. We want to hear from you guys. Have you had any experiences with any creepers in your inbox, or people that have approached you in a manner that you don't think is respectful? Let's go to the second part of this question, though, Aaron. I think it's great. Do you think we are accustomed to dysfunctional chemistry?
You want to go?
You want me to answer first? I'll go first. I think that we, being that we have developed into the computer age, everything's computer, everything is technology, everything is your phone. You find most people doing this most of the time. I think that we've lost a major part of communicational skills. We don't know how to approach people. We don't know how to, engage in regular conversation without it being awkward or crazy. I think that we do find that as an issue for most people, where they don't really know how to have great communication skills. So dysfunctional chemistry, I think I would say dysfunctional communication in general.
So I want to say this. So I'm in a group. I talk about this group a lot. It's called Easy Say, Easy Does. And there was a conversation that came up. We've talked about this on the podcast before as well, about, how you date. Dating multiple people at the same time, or are you exclusively dating? I think the question was, if you're getting to know someone and they start talking to someone else, is that cheating? And
is it what?
Is that cheating? And we talked about that on the podcast before, and we've already said that's not cheating. But what I will say is this, from my experience. No, it's not cheating, but if someone really likes you, they're going to spend that time getting to know you and just you.
Well, I think that boils down to communication. If you really like me and we are, just in the talking stage or phase or what have you, then I think it boils down to the expression of communication to say, hey, I'm really digging you. I'm not seeing anybody else. I don't want to really see anybody else. I like the time that we're spending. Like, I just think that needs to be a conversation. I think that a lot of times that gray area, because a lot of people consider that to be a gray area, they miss out on the opportunities to be in relationships and progressing forward because just for the lack of communication. Nobody's talking about what's happening and how things are developing. If you're spending all of your time with somebody and you're spending, a great deal, the next day you want to call them and see what they're doing. The next day you want to hang out at their house. The next day you want to cook for them. I think that you just need to communicate.
But I think there's also a difference in people who are dating, because the way that I was told to date, this is not only just from our podcast, but just in the past, it was like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and, you date multiple people, things like that. But for me, I've been a person where I can handle it, because at some point I got 5 people think that I'm interested in them, and then one of them, I'm like on America's Next Top Model, and I got to choose 2 people who got a car. And
I have 2 photos in my hand.
Yeah.
And one of y'all is going home.
And like the whole cast is over here distraught or mad, or they don't give a damn because they date other people. But it's too much for me personally to have to deal with that. So that's why I gave the answer that I gave is that it is every man for himself. But if it's someone that you are really interested in, you will be able to tell based off the energy that they put towards just you versus dating in general, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think too, it is your responsibility to be mature enough to say, okay, if I have 5 people that I'm interested in, I got to be able to weed out. It's too much. Some people can't be serial daters. Some people can't date multiple people at one time. So you just kind of have to know who you are and what you can handle. Let's go to some comments. We got some really big comments in the comment section. Let's go to some comments real quick. Brandon says, for some people, sex can be the end all be all. If they know it won't work sexually, they won't even bother getting to know you in any other way. That is very true.
And there are people I think that came from the asking if it's a top or bottom in the beginning.
Yeah, that comment. I mean, I get it. Some people with sex, yeah, I can now from that perspective, I can understand that. If we're just talking about sex, and if we're just talking about, hey, I just want to see what's up, that's different, right?
But not just sex. Like even if it's a dating perspective, and me and you don't agree on this. We've talked about this like multiple times.
That's true. That's true.
If you're coming to me, you're interested in me. If you want me to be a top 50% of the time or 75% of the time, it's not going to work for me. So I don't mind you asking in the beginning, are you a top or are you a bottom? Because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. So if you're asking this as like one of the first 5 questions, I'm okay with that because I don't want to mislead you. I don't want to be misled because, I think for me emotionally, I'm already attached if I'm already feeling the vibe between us. So now, I'm there and then you're like, well, I'm a full bottom. I'm like, well, fuck. We could have had this conversation at the beginning, so.
I understand that. I understand that perspective. But for some people, it's a turn off to lead in with that type of conversation, right? Now, like you said, we disagree on it because for me, it's a complete turn off. If you coming at me and you're trying to get to know me and the first question out of your mouth without saying initially that it's just a sexual thing, the first question out of your mouth, if you're asking me about my sexual position or preference, then I'm going to immediately be like, okay, well, this is just what that is. And if that's what that is, I'm going to treat it as such. I'm not going to think about building a life with you and creating a relationship and etc. Like that's not going to enter my mind because it's just a sex thing.
But can I give you I want to give an example too of why this is so big for me too, because people will say I'm versatile or, I'm a versatile top or whatever. But every picture and video you send me is either you getting fucked or your ass. And I'm like, where's the dick? Like, I just don't understand what's going on here because you're versatile, but all I'm seeing is you getting fucked or your ass pictures. Like, I just don't get it. Granted, I don't want to see you getting fucked.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, everything I'm saying does not lead to you're versatile.
Because they need proof. If that's what you say you are, you need proof that that's what you are.
I'm just trying to... Let's move on. That's right.
Let's go to Travis's comment. I no longer mind someone asking me my position from jump because I've learned some people will lie about their position just to get with you. That's kind of what you're saying, Aaron. Yeah. So that goes into what you're saying. Absolutely, Travis. That's understandable. Brandon has another comment. I've been in a position in situations where I'm the one who people get scared of because I like them. I used to get upset about it, but I realized that I'm just ready for something that some people aren't. I can totally understand that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that's honest. Whereas you like somebody and you're ready, because I've had people tell me in the past that I am husband material and they're not ready for husband material.
Yeah.
I'm the spend time, cook, clean, hang around, love on, affection. Like I'm that person by nature. And I've had people in particularly be like, oh, I just wasn't prepared for like a full-on fledged like husband material type situation. And it's frustrating sometimes, honestly.
And I think for me, like, I think I've said it so much that people like run people away from me because I've always said like, I love having sex, but at the end of the day, I do want a real relationship. And that's why I feel like I wanted to attract that kind of energy, which is why I had separate pictures for separate things. You want me to read this one?
Okay. Yes, sure. Why not?
Apparently, I fit into the stereotype of skinny boys have big egos, if you catch my drift. So a lot of messages I get are initiated with how big is it? Are you a top, etc. is disrespectful.
That's we call that in the acting and like typecasting.
Mm.
That's like you are, obviously you fit into the stereotype, so it's automatically assumed that you have a big ego, quote unquote. Or it's like also, I guess from the other perspective, people with big behinds are just automatically assumed to be bottom.
I was going to actually comment on that. That's not true though, because for me, everybody knows I have a big ass. But most people who have not seen me in person, even though they've seen pictures of me with, or whatever, they still assume I'm on top.
Or they would like you to be, for that matter. I think from their fantasizing of the pictures that you post.
Yeah, maybe.
Except for your period picture with your behind as the peak. But, except for that, I think, it's their fantasy about you via social media. I've had people, it's funny because I had one person tell me, they were like, I don't see you as a verse top. I think you're just fully versed. Yeah. And I said, based upon my pictures. And I said, okay, that's what your perception is, but I know what I like.
I guess for me, I just think that, and it's different when I'm just having sex with people versus me being in a relationship. Like if my man wants a dick, I'm gonna give it to him. But if I'm just going,
you're gonna get 3 pumps. That's it.
No, he may get more than 3, may get 5. But but I'm just saying, if that's something that he wants, that's different, because I'm not in this for just the sex. I'm here for the long run.
Right. Let's go to the next one from Travis. I think the reason some folks are accustomed to dysfunctional chemistry is they haven't done the work amongst themselves and they only know how to function in dysfunction. That is very true. I think it takes a lot of self-introspection to make sure you are prepared for the next phase of your relationship aspect with whomever that is. Any comments on that?
I just think people don't really take into consideration that a relationship could happen at some point. And, even for me in my new situation, it was a hookup situation, right? It just never.
It started out that way.
Yeah, so we didn't even have sex, but it turned to be a totally different thing. And so now, what if I would have turned that down? You know what I mean? I may have walked out on something that's great.
Yeah, that's true. And I think we've touched on that question a few times, where what happens when a hookup turns into a real situation. I believe that was an earlier part of the season of the podcast where we talked about that kind of perspective. Next comment from Travis, like Jennifer Lewis says, when you sit in shit too long, it stops smelling, and some people are sitting in it.
Yeah.
It's true. That's true. Last comment from Brandon. I definitely think we are accustomed to dysfunctional chemistry. Most of us, I'm guilty of it in some past relationships, connect based on common trauma. Sometimes we don't even know it. That is very, very true. That's very true. That's say it again.
I want to say I did that with someone. I'll think about it later, but I'm almost for sure I did that with someone.
Were you connected based upon trauma of any kind?
And it was more like a dependent situation than a relationship.
So you feed into my trauma, our common trauma, whether it is, whatever it is for that matter. So I'm going to, we're going to stay together.
We probably haven't dealt with it, but now we're talking about it and like we're trying to heal each other. Well, we don't have the tools to do that. Because
we're both suffering from the same trauma.
Right.
Yeah. That's very common in our community. So you ready to go to the next question, or you got anything else you want to say about this topic? Let's go. All right. Next topic for the relationship topics. Can you date someone that's never had a boyfriend, or would that set off a red flag? Can you date someone that has never had a boyfriend, or would that set off a red flag? Can you date someone that has never had a boyfriend, or would that set off a red flag?
I really hope that my brother is listening to this, because I did get this from him in a conversation that we had. And we did talk about this a lot on the podcast. But to me, I think we agreed on this one, that I thought it would be great, because there's no relationship baggage when it comes to this relationship. And the only thing you got to do is do this person right, and you won. You know what I mean? It's not really that bad for real. The only thing is that if you do mess this up, or if it doesn't work out, you hope that person doesn't leave jaded.
Yeah. And I don't think, like, when we talked about it in the podcast, I referenced, my very first relationship quite often. And I referenced that because that is my only point of reference up until this current relationship and situation. But I think, that was the, foundation of my experience with relationships. Like, we love each other unconditionally. We weren't jaded. We weren't, scarred by past situations. We led in what our feelings and our emotions were for each other. And that's what, the relationship built to be. I'm sure that I was not his first, but he was my first. So I'm quite sure, that he, from the history of the relationship, like, we're still friends today, and we're still good friends because we care about each other from that aspect. But I think, it really, for me, it was like, I didn't have any scars or I wasn't jaded. I literally just, led in with what my feelings were. And I think for most people, when they say, is it a red flag? I think you mentioned the person that wrote in said that they didn't want to be, the first. They didn't want to be the first to do this, and they didn't want to have to be the first to go through or be the first to break their heart. Well, I don't think that should be a perspective that you look from.
His biggest concern was he didn't want to be the first person that broke the guy's heart if it didn't work out.
Well, I mean, somebody has to be. You know what I mean? Somebody has to be your first for you to experience that.
That's what he was saying, though.
Well, I mean, somebody has to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be you.
I mean, I feel like, why are you walking into this in that mind frame? Like, if y'all mutually like each other. If y'all mutually like each other, like, why is this the first thing? It's almost like the prenup. Like, you're planning the divorce before you even get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you're thinking about breaking his heart even before you get into the situation, which means then ultimately you're going to manifest what you just spoke. You're going to manifest breaking his heart because that's what's on your mind.
Right.
Yeah. Let's go to a comment. Brandon says, "Whoa, you guys are on my street and on my porch. Don't ring my doorbell, though." I mean, it's real. These are things that we deal with in our community all the time. And I think it's just something that we, this is the purpose of having these kinds of conversations, because somebody could be watching that's thinking about getting into a relationship and they don't know how to handle it. Travis's comment: "Yes, I can. I recently tried to date someone who hadn't had a boyfriend, but he ghosted me even after we had the conversation about communication and ghosting."
Oh, I've been through that.
Yeah,
I've been through that.
Yeah, ghosting is real, man. I've done it. I've had it done to me. I'm sure we all have done it and had it done to each other. You just kind of have to. I think it's a part of maturity. Say it again.
I don't feel like I've ghosted anybody before.
You don't think so?
I don't think I've ever done.
Not what you would consider ghosting.
To me, I feel like I always communicate if this isn't working. Now, if you're not getting it, I'm out. Like, I'm not about to keep sticking around, but I've communicated it multiple times that this is not working. And I did it in a way that I would want it done to me.
Okay. I mean, I get it. It's really about maturity and communication. If you're not up to the level of being able to communicate, hey, I want to move on, or this is not something that I'm interested in any longer. We tend to think about people's feelings, and we don't want to hurt their feelings, but ultimately you're hurting their feelings when you don't communicate.
Absolutely.
The next comment, that's a red flag for me. I've barked up that tree before. As much as we like each other, he had a hard time turning the I into we, which caused a lot of arguments between us. Some people aren't ready to let go of their singleness. Some people aren't really, that requires, again, I think that it requires a lot of communication. I think that requires a lot of maturity
to be, to change from being single to in a relationship. Brandon also says, are they younger? Are they older? Have they had a girlfriend? Is this the only relationship they've ever had? These are variables.
Yeah. See, I've had a girlfriend. We lasted I think we were together for like 3 years. I've had a whole fucking husband. And so like at this point, I feel like I tried the things that I wanted to try. My tolerance is just like, listen, if you want to do it, let's do it. If you don't want to do it, just tell me you don't want to do it. I would rather you tell me that you don't want to do it and then to me find out that you are doing other things behind my back.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many variables in a situation. You just kind of have to see how you feel about the person. And if that is something that you want to embark upon, again, I think it really boils down to communication and maturity. Like those are the two main components in dating somebody that may not have ever been in a relationship, or, take it slow and just see how it develops. Let it develop on its own. Don't rush them into something that, is going to cause issues later on.
Right. Hey,
Tim. All right. Next question.
Or Moses, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at the watch party and this at the same time.
Oh, tell your folks on watch party to make sure that they comment, question, etc. So we can pop in. So they put a comment. If you put a comment on Aaron's watch party, it's not going to pop in for the comments here. So we need to make sure that if you guys have a comment, ring a bell, throw up a flag or something. So Aaron can
back and forth. I may miss some things that's on the watch party, but y'all can go to our Affairs of the Heart fan page and join the live from there, and we can put your post on to the actual live.
All right, we got some other comments coming in really quick before we transition to the next question. This topic could be age dependent as well. Early 20s could be okay, late 30s not so much. Depending upon first relationship, etc. No, do you agree? Do you think age has something to do with it?
I guess for me, I'm so sorry. And I'm really thinking about this. I'm thinking about for me as someone older coming into a relationship, like you are not ignorant to a relationship because although you may not have been in one, you've heard about it. You at this point, you have to know what you want or what you don't want. Granted, you may not have had that experience, but you kind of know what you want. You know what I mean? You are, and maybe that's me being ignorant too, because I'm not older and never have dated before, so I don't know.
I think it also, as far as age is concerned, because, some people mature later in life when it comes to the acceptance of being in, same gender loving or queer, or however you would define yourself. Yeah. So I think with age, it depends upon their comfortability of who they are as a person, right? Right. So some people don't come out, fully and accepting who they are until they're in their 30s, because of, or there are people that haven't completely come out, they have a roommate and their roommate has been they've been in a relationship with their roommate for special friend, that kind of verbiage. So it depends on, right. It depends on the maturity of the person and where they are in their matriculation. Clea says there's a lot of people who are out there who have a percent. Aaron, read the question. Thank you. Perception
of what they perceive an idea relationship of being, and aren't willing to give someone who doesn't fit that image a fair shot. That's really a good comment. I really like that. And I guess I'm thinking about this because of my first reactions to my inbox that I got, because it was automatically like, I ain't doing that. But I think when you let those walls down, like when you start to really realize like you really do want to date, and sometimes you're way too much. I think for me, I always talk about being a Virgo and how I overanalyze everything. There's probably a lot of people that I bypass because I overanalyze before I said hello. You know what I'm saying? So I really like that because it's almost like I feel like I'm attacked. Emotional walls.
So he feels I'm attacked by your comment, but it's true.
But that's a really good comment. I really like that.
I think I think I can agree with you there. You don't give people the opportunity to be a part of your life, you know, solely based off of perception, and sometimes you miss out, unfortunately. And you have to eat that. You got to eat that L. What's up, Q? We're great. Let's go to another comment. Knowing what you want is one part, but not knowing what you have to give is the other part that's often missed.
So, we need to start bringing these people on as guests on the podcast because
good
comments. Like honestly, these are really good comments, and these
are great comments.
That's very real.
That's true. That's true. Knowing what you want, but what you have to give. You can't want something that you can't give.
Right. And sometimes you don't even know what you can give because you haven't been.
You haven't done the work to. Yeah. You haven't done the work to make sure you know what you want. Absolutely. Brandon is also a Virgo.
I love you, Brandon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, if you haven't listened to Brandon's music, you can find him on all the social media. Music platforms. Great artist and singer.
Check him out.
He's not trying. You're not trying to attack you. Just so you know, it's not personal.
Under attack, but I put up my notes in the wall.
Right, blocked it. So stupid. Let's go to the next question. We're in our relationship topics, guys. Number 3, single and searching guys. What non-sexual features turn you on about a guy? Single and searching. What non-sexual? Huh?
This was this week. This was the topic for this week.
We didn't. Did we talk about this?
I don't remember talking about.
Or did I just? Did I leave a comment?
We can talk about that. I don't remember talking about it.
Okay, well, let's throw it in there. Non-features turn you on about a guy.
With non-sexual features.
Non-sexual features.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be eye contact. Yeah, I think I've said that multiple times. The eye contact thing is always something that just really turns me on. The conversation.
Yeah. You got another one? Were you thinking? You need me to wait?
I mean, I'm trying to think of what's non-sexual and say what I'm trying to say.
It's getting real hard for you, friend.
Yeah, it
is real hard.
No, but that's sexual. What do you mean now?
Right.
I think the fact that the person is really into me is very. It turns me on about a guy too. Like genuinely,
somebody's really into you.
They don't have to say sexual things, but they just express how much they're really into me with the nonverbals and the actual verbals.
Okay.
That's my.
For me, I think you had to think of 3.
Yeah.
For me, it's if you can make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I love to laugh and be silly, and so if you can make me laugh genuinely, I'm all in. I am that. If you don't get on my nerves, and I think we talked about this on the podcast, if you don't get on my nerves, and my nerves are bad because I love my mother, and if she's on, she will attest. I get it honest. If you get on my nerves, I'm like, all right, I can't deal with extra stress, extra drama, extra. But I get it honest from her.
If you guys are watching, please share this live.
Yes, share us. Let us, let people join in the conversation, share, like, subscribe, etc.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody said it's the armpits for them. That's non-sexual.
Isn't that sexual?
I would have thought that was sexual. Or kind of kinky.
The reason why I thought that was I just seen a post to ask, have you ever had your armpit head out? I just seen that like yesterday. I seen that on Twitter yesterday.
I'm gonna move on because I'm not even gonna. Nope. Go ahead and read this one.
His smile, the way he sings when no one is watching, his ability to hold my hand while grocery shopping, which shows that he cares nothing about others' opinions.
That's nice. That's so nice.
I love all those things.
That's nice. You want to read this one too?
Sure.
Or you're not biased?
But okay. For real, if a dude is really into a book or TV series, oh my God, hold up. Okay. And tell me about it with passion, it's very attractive. Y'all already know how I feel about girlfriends. So.
And I just went on an entire rant this week about Lovecraft Country. Yeah. Oh, Lovecraft Country is my show right now. Oh, man, it's so good.
Most importantly, if you do not work on my damn nerves, my nerves are easily.
Yes.
So to work on my nerves is automatic turn off.
I agree.
I feel like I need to work on your nerves sometimes, though.
But I mean, in a loving way. But like, if you are like annoying, that's a whole different situation. And you're like knowingly annoying. That's a whole.
I might want to work on your nerves so we can have like makeup sex or something.
Goodbye. Direct communication and emotional maturity and sober. Did you not finish that? Okay. Got it. Yeah.
It's a comma.
I was waiting for us. That's it. Okay.
If he had a vehicle as good as me, he could be a keeper. Laugh my ass off. Okay.
All right.
We talked about
driving a vehicle. As good as him. And Brandon says, the armpits ate out. I need mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because I'm dead. Right? Isn't that's nasty?
We're back to this.
First of all, you got deodorant under there. And then I'm gonna have deodorant taste in my mouth. And
some guys, that's a fetish for them, and so they will tell you they want to lick every part of you. And so I've learned that means that they probably have like an armpit fetish or something like that. But I have had that happen to me though. But it's almost like licking the bottom of your feet. You know, people have feet fetishes.
I'll suck a toe here and there, but I'm not licking your armpits.
It's not about the toes, about that. You know that the bottom of the foot, how that feels when someone like licks that or something. That's how it feels.
I'm okay.
Yes.
Wow. I guess we have a community of people that enjoy armpits. I had no idea. Who knew?
That's very interesting.
Very. Yes. All right. You want to? Yes, Kelly. Yes.
I'm just trying to educate y'all on some other things that y'all may not know about.
No. All right. So last one for this topic. I wouldn't put my mouth on an armpit. I like a man's scent sometimes. Okay.
I think that's why they get off of it, from the man's scent. So I don't know. Let's move on. I thought that deal with man's scent though.
I thought so as well, but apparently not. Let's go to the next topic for relationship. Okay. Do you have a problem with your partner venting, talking to someone about your relationship problems? This could potentially be an issue if the person that they're discussing it with have the idea that they can have input about your relationship, right? I personally wouldn't condone venting to someone that does not have your best interest at heart as it pertains to your relationship.
But how do you know that though?
I mean, like for example, I know who I can vent to and who I can't vent to. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I know who's going to use it for ammunition against me, mm-hmm. and I know who has the potential to lead, give me sound advice as it pertains to. I'm not going to go to my single friend who hasn't had a relationship in 20 years and who's bitter and jaded about their last relationship. I'm not going to go to them and vent to them about my relationship.
Can I disagree with that?
Sure. Of course you can.
I disagree with that because I've personally dealt with this. And for me, I really was giving the best advice that I could give. Both parties. Like I wasn't on one side or the other. I was really giving advice.
You didn't have any ill motives.
No. Even though one of my best friends was a part of the situation, I gave the best advice that I could give. It still turned around on me and put me on some shit that I couldn't even deal with, to the point where like we're not even friends anymore. That, and then one of my best friends, he's not been in a relationship for years, but he gives me the best relationship advice that I could ever ask for, because it's not, to me, it's not biased. It's always about,
it's not biased.
Yeah, it's always about, well, brother, how do you feel? Are these things going on? How do you feel when these things go on? Like, he really doesn't give me advice where it's just based off of our brotherhood. And I know he hasn't been in a relationship for a long time. So
okay.
I think that for me, I would personally want to have a conversation with my partner first. And if it's something that we cannot really deal with, I'm a big fan of counseling. I'd rather do that than to start venting to our friends, because what happens is if we start having conversations with other people and we say together, everybody's side-eyeing us, and our really faulty.
Yeah. I have been in situations where, there is a little scuffle or situation in a relationship, and one person vents to you and this other person in the relationship vents to you, and then you're caught in the middle, and it's always, well, they said, they gave me this advice, and they said, and you look crazy when they work this shit out, and then you would pick sides and choosing teams or whatever the case was. So I totally understand that, and I will retract my last statement about venting to friends that haven't been in relationships. I think that is that's not 100% true, because some people who haven't been in a relationship, just because they're not in a relationship doesn't mean they can't give good relationship advice. I understand.
Sometimes people that are in a relationship will tell you to fight for something that you should not keep fighting for.
True.
Because they don't want to see you lose the relationship. I love talking to people who won't tell you one way or the other.
Yeah, because there's other
vent, and it's that, or they let you vent and then they make you think about what you talked about. But I still kind of question sometimes, because you can vent to them and then they go tell everybody else what you vented to them about too. So there's so many variables to that. It'll be somebody like, I do have a friend, like if I'm having a situation I can talk to, and I know it's going to stay between me and him, and that's it. It's never going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I had another friend like that too, and it went everywhere. So it's like, that's why I'm like, I would rather just go to counseling or something. If our relationship is serious enough for that, let's just do that and not really involve everybody else, because I don't think that that's healthy.
I think it boils down to, understanding that if you decide to share your personal information with a friend, that information that you share has the potential to be shared with other people. So don't say anything or don't share anything that you possibly would not want to be public, because it has a potential. If granted, they could hold it and they could be the friend that you think they are, but at the end of the day, it has the potential. They could share it with somebody else and you could be embarrassed. So I think it just boils down to choose wisely who you decide to divulge information to. Let's go to some comments, because we've got a lot of those in the section also. Let's start. Talk to me first. Tell me how you feel. Some of the impos you vent to give you the worst advice, so you can break up and they can get a piece. I've seen it happen. That's true. Some people have ulterior motives about the information that you share.
Yeah.
That's true. Some people do have ulterior motives, so just be careful who you vent to.
Absolutely.
Read the next one, Aaron.
If it's a therapist, I do not have a problem. But if it's social media, yes, I have a problem. I definitely agree that social media is not your therapist. And, even if you think it's a subliminal message, people know you're in a relationship, they still are going to apply that. Even if you're making blank statements on social media about relationships that can seem bad, it still always applies to your relationship to people on social media. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
And don't give people on social media a reason to assume or any kind of assumption about what's going on in your life anyway. They don't deserve that. You show them what you want to show them. And if you share that information and they're going to make assumptions about it, you can't get mad because you gave them the keys to the information.
Right.
Brandon says, as long as the person has my partner's best interest at heart, sometimes it's not about what's best for me or even us. It's about what's best for him. Some people understand that. Some people don't. I see you side-eyeing.
I agree with that to a certain extent, because sometimes, and I think we talk about this on the podcast too, sometimes your partner's, as long as my partner's interest is at heart, sometimes it's not about it. Sometimes the person who is speaking for your partner or speaking to your partner has ulterior motives, because they may be that friend that's sitting there who really wants your partner. So they're giving them advice to kind of like lead them away. And, you know, for me, I'm going to be thinking like, well, how many people have you talked to this friend about, and y'all have broken up because this friend is giving this advice? So that's why I'm always skeptical about the friend giving advice, because it's like, I know a lot of friends who are sitting around waiting because the guy that they want to date won't date them because they put them in the friend zone, but they want to be out the friend zone so bad, so they don't want to see them in a relationship.
Oh, so then you're trying to sabotage?
Yeah, basically,
altogether.
They're sabotaging everything because they want you to feel like, I can't find nobody else. Well, you sitting over here at some point, you know.
Right. I think. Well, let me bring up Brandon's comment to what you just said. In that case, he doesn't have my partner's best interest at heart. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think that falls under that category.
But sometimes your partner just doesn't know that. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Because you could be venting to somebody that you think has your best interest at heart. You have a history of sharing information with, and secretly they want to sabotage your situation.
Right.
So I could totally understand that. Trey says, don't vent about something that you aren't willing to openly discuss with your partner. But sometimes you need to get it off your chest or run something by a trusted source before you approach approach your partner with it, is what he's trying to say. And that's very true. It's very true.
I understand
the key phrase.
But sometimes you just don't know, even though you feel like you can trust them, you just really don't know sometimes. And it can be your best of friends. You just don't know who you can trust when it comes down to relationships, because again, there are a lot of us who have friends that are sitting on the friend zone waiting for their opportunity.
That's true. But I think the key word in Trey's comment is that trusted source. And you think they're a trusted source, but just lead with caution. You know what you can share, know what you can't share.
Because Mama Joyce had the word on the street all the time for candy bars, but the word on the street wasn't really the word on the street.
Boom.
That's what her mama. I mean, it could have been the scheme that Todd has set up to come to you with the bullshit.
With the bullshit. Right. It's a scheme that Todd has set up.
I mean, even if you think about it, Phaedra did the same thing. She trusted her husband on everything, and they come to find out her husband was lying to her about Kenyon. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I would just rather go to a counselor.
Yeah. Read this one for me.
Couples have to be careful with whom they share their relationship details with. Not all people have their best interests at heart. Some of those people will deliberately give bad advice for the sake of breaking them up or being in that negative place like them are.
Basically what you were saying. Yeah, basically what you were saying. Lastly, Brandon says every relationship needs anchors that can hold the two of you accountable to the relationship.
I believe it. But
I 100% agree with that.
I believe in this too, though. Both parties need to know who those anchors are.
There's not a lot of people.
Yeah, you can't be dating and you have anchors and I have anchors, but I don't know who yours are and you know who mine are.
I think that the anchor needs to know and have some type of interaction, or at least some introduction to each other.
Absolutely.
let's go to the next question. Last question for our relationship topics. Couple social media accounts. Do you think you should have one? Do you think it's necessary? What are your thoughts on couple social media accounts? Really quick before we jump into that. Brandon agreed with what you said, talking about that part. Yes. He agreed with what you said. So couple social media accounts. Now, we talked about this on the podcast, and I said that I think it has its place for certain couples.
Yes.
There are certain iconic LGBTQIA plus couples that are giving great representation, and Black LGBTQIA couples that have couples accounts. They are giving representation to the fact that Black love actually does exist in our community. So for their aspect, absolutely. Some of y'all, I think it's a little too much. You know, y'all.
Nobody else on this social media, we're gonna be on one. They inbox you, they inboxing us.
Yeah, I'm not. You know,
I'm not down for that.
I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it personally.
Like we had a YouTube channel together or something like that, where we need our business. Where we have a business page, not personal accounts. But I'm not. Right. I just don't. I feel like that's an insecurity.
For some, I mean, I could see it as a great marketable tool.
I heard what you said. But my personal opinion still stands. I feel like it's an insecurity.
Well, I wouldn't personally have one, but I could see it. I could see the other side of it to a degree. Now, if y'all are two porn stars who just got together and y'all create a couples page, that's different. That's different.
You like earthquake. You like earthquake. It looks good on you.
Not me. Travis says, for me personally, I'm not having a social media account. Just not something that we can do together.
Social media?
I think he means is in regards to a relationship. Okay. Yeah. Maybe having one account together and each separately as well.
I can do that.
But so then my question.
Well, we also on the podcast that my aunt was telling me that she felt that she was told that people who have joint accounts mean that they swing. So
do you think that they've created these couple accounts because they're swingers?
Well, that's what my aunt was saying. So I'm just like, this is really a red flag for me at this point because I'm not swinging. Seriously?
I don't think. I mean, no.
I mean, if the swingers community has already picked up on this, it's definitely not something that I really want to engage in, honestly. Or I'm gonna have to put into the description like we are not swingers, so that you don't come to me with the bullshit.
In capital letters, just say we are not swingers. Don't even try it. That kind of thing. No. No. So he responded. They mean saying swinging these hands. That's what they're swinging.
Seriously though, I mean, I just don't like. We've already had that conversation. Like, it's not something we both are. We want to engage in at this point. I don't know what's going to happen 10 years down the line if things last that long. But at this point, that's not something that we want to do. So I don't want to bring something that may be a distraction.
Mm-hmm. If everything is good, why invite people in to make it work?
Right. If you already know
some people to have. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say it again.
I was saying if you already have an inkling that this is what people think if they see a joint account, I automatically wouldn't want to do that because I don't want people hitting us up to start trying to bring ideas in. Like, well, this is a joint account. Because I mean, I can even tell you, like when me and my ex moved here to Atlanta, we went to parties together. They were like, "Do y'all do trios and all this other stuff?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is a trio? I never heard of this before. I never heard of that." But the more I was here in Atlanta, I learned a lot of different terminology that I didn't know about. If you went out to a party together, people thought y'all was looking for a third. So,
no. What were you singing a few minutes ago? Hell to the no, no.
Hell to the no, to the no.
Travis said, I've known some people to have a couple's account because someone cheated in their relationship.
And that's what it looks like to me. Honestly, it does.
That's a red flag.
It's a red. That's why. And it also brings to me, when I see couples accounts, it looks like an insecure couple to me. I would never.
Not all of them.
Situation.
All of them, you think, are just all insecure?
I'm wondering why this is a joint account. Unless y'all got a YouTube channel together, y'all got some kind of business together, something like that. If y'all don't have, like, I haven't seen y'all do anything besides post pictures together. I'm looking at this like somebody cheated.
Okay. Brandon says, maybe making it known that you're in a relationship on your own individual accounts, not even necessarily telling who it is to prevent the beauty of, but to preserve the beauty of the relationship privacy. Relationship privacy. Yes.
Your Facebook gives you the opportunity to say, I'm in a relationship, you're in a relationship. You can post who it's with or who it's not with. You can say, I'm in one. You can say, I'm in a relationship with John and I'm in a relationship with Doe. You have the opportunity to do that. So a joint account is
John and Doe.
You could be in a relationship with John, Doe, and Jane. But it gives you opportunity to do that.
I think that's hilarious, but it's true. I mean, I personally keep the privacy of relationships just because I personally believe you have to have some mystery about yourself. Social media does not need to know every area and aspect of your life. That's just my personal opinion. I don't post everything. I don't. Now, you get what you see and you think you know everything, but you have no idea. This is the life of, Dwayne Q. But it's not.
Because we didn't talk about this on the podcast, but let me ask you this. How soon is too soon to post somebody that you're dating on your social media?
You may never see a post from me. It may be very few and far between. But here's the difference in the aspect of that is that I have the conversation with the person that I'm seeing or in a relationship with. Right. What do you feel about posting publicly in your relationship? What do you, do you have to have it? Do you not have to have it? Do you think it invites more problems than it's worth? All of those things are a part of the communication that we have in a relationship, right? So I'm not going to jeopardize the relationship and then post, because I've seen people that post their relationship from the moment that they meet each other up until, it's over. So you're inviting people in to have an opinion about your relationship, though.
What if it's important to them, but it's not important to you? Like, what if it's something that you really don't want to do, but they really want you to do it?
I would do it in moderation. I'm not posting a picture of you every day, every hour of the hour, because I don't do that on my own social media page anyway. I think it also boils down to what your social media activity is based upon what you like to post as well. Now, if you feel like I need to, for your insecurity purpose, you need me to post a picture of you or us together, or whatever the case is. If I want to oblige with that, then I will. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to give the social media, keys and access to my relationship. I'm in a relationship with you, not social media.
Yeah, I had a guy that I dated. He wanted me to be. He wanted to be on my social media and his social media the whole entire time. And
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I wasn't down for it. And so when I would post stuff about me being in a relationship, he would comment underneath so people knew it was him. And it didn't work out. And that's exactly. And I was like, and this is why I didn't post. I posted a picture of him and me, but he was so tall that I cut his damn head off. And he was so mad about it, but I'm like, this is why I didn't do it, because it didn't even last long.
Yeah. That automatically tells me what your mindset is about the relationship to begin with. If you feel like I need to post you and it needs to be a public situation or a public thing, then that automatically tells me that your mindset is. Yeah, I agree. Let's jump into some of the comments from what we were just talking about. Kelly said, wait a minute. Before I get to Kelly, we have one more. I've seen one joint account where one dude was out and the other one was closeted and wore a mask. Very interesting. See?
That's kind of what I was talking about too. Like when I posted pictures of me and the other guy, because he was so tall, I would post the picture would stop up here, but he would be way up here. So the picture would be like his head be up this way, I'll be down here. But y'all saw I had a man because his body was next to me. But I'm just not, I wasn't down for it because I felt pressure to do it. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like it was we were in love and we wanted people to see, gay black love. it was like a person thing. Like they didn't know you got a man and who the man is, and I wasn't down for that.
Yeah, I can understand it. It's all for show. Kelly says but if you have to do that because someone cheated, why are y'all together? Absolutely, Kelly.
That's why I was about to respond to that other one because I see you had that one first. But yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sammy said you should have a household account together to pay household bills. We're talking about social media accounts. We're not talking about. But you're right.
No, but
he's right.
He's what we're talking about. But that's the account you should have together.
That's the account you should have together. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
Let's do that first.
Before we worry about you posting a picture of each other on your social media accounts, let's talk about having a bank account together so we can pay some of these damn bills.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
And if they want to about you and be in the inbox, put them on them bills to pay the bills with us.
Pay this phone bill since you want to be in my inbox. Brandon said, and Jesse on Wednesdays. Yes. Absolutely. Leah agrees. Kelly also says, y'all won't see my mate until we are married with 1.5 children. That's what I'm talking about.
What's the 0.5?
The dog. The dog is the 0.5.
Are you pregnant with the second one?
No. She's already had one child, and she's pregnant with the second one. But I get I was gonna say the dog was the 0.5, but Kelly, you can clarify that for us. Travis said, to add to that, I also know some couples created a shared account because fake profiles were being created of one of the parties in the relationship. Mm. Oh, that happened. Fake profiles do happen. I don't know that it's necessarily created.
You're single and that happens. I still have my own accounts.
Brandon says, man, give me 4 seasons. You make it through 4 seasons with me and vice versa, then cool, I'll post. That way I know you're ugly and you're good, and I know it's real or fake. I say that all the time on the podcast. You have to give.
It may not be 4 seasons for me, but yeah, I understand that. I get that.
Yeah, I say that all the time on the podcast. I want to see what you like when you're poor. I want to see what you like when you got some money. I want to see.
Like when I said it on the podcast.
Huh?
You gave me a lot of flack about that on the podcast.
No, what I said was, if you're poor, that means it's going to change. If you don't have the money to do it, or you don't have, you can't be with some.
When I said I was talking about Mad Day, he was like, "It may not be like that," and I was like,
"It may not."
I know.
It may not.
I'm messing with you.
But you were talking about. I know the other question. What was that last week when we talked about if it's superficial to date somebody that doesn't have a car? That situation can change. That situation can change overnight. You know what I mean? I need to see you in all processes. I need to know what's going to happen when somebody dies in your family. I need to know how your family is going to respond. Yeah. I need to see all of those things in order to know, if we really in this together.
I think. Oh, go ahead. Let's do these first.
No, go ahead. Oh, you want to?
No, I was going to just add what you were saying. To me, my tests are my friends and my family. So, like, even. I think when we get to Mad Day, with whatever level that gets to, but also just being around my family and my friends and how you interact with them means a lot to me, and to figure out how we're going to be able to date. Because if I have to get rid of my friends, and you're not getting along with my family, and it's not for a really valid reason, then we're not really going to be able to go any farther.
Yeah. You got to pass some tests. I mean, I don't come alone. I have a village. I have a pit crew that, I value their opinion.
And I watch Girlfriends all the time. And Lynn's dad said something to her that was really important. And she says, stop giving out tests to people who they don't know they're being tested.
It's not fair. Yeah. It's not a pop quiz. This is not, something that you should think you should.
You have to really bypass this. And like my friends, my family, even if you faking it, they're going to know you faking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon says, so the man that you were taking pictures with that was taller than you looked like the secretary from the Powerpuff Girl.
Actually, somebody posted that. They posted about Proud Family. They said, is that what was the Magic Johnson guy on Proud Family?
Oh, the basketball. Yeah, because it was all it was legs and
Wizard Kelly.
Yeah. So you were dating Wizard Kelly.
Yeah, that's what they said. I was dating Wizard Kelly.
Kelly said that the 0.5 is the dog.
Okay.
The 0.5 is the dog. I know my sister. All right. So we're going to transition here in a second into our sex topics. Thank you guys so much for all of your feedback on our relationship topics. You guys are really in it tonight. So
They made us work today.
Yeah, y'all are in it today. Y'all must have really missed us. You missed us. Yeah. Aaron, before we hop into our sex topics, go ahead and plug, where they can find us, etc., podcasts, websites, etc.
So make sure if you guys are being engaged, first of all, in any of these conversations, share the post and tag AOTH podcast, but take the links to the live and share it. You can follow us at AOTH podcast on Twitter, Affairs of the Heart on Facebook, and The Affairs of the Heart on Instagram. And then you go to www.affairsoftheheartpodcast.com.
Yep. And if you are missing or you want to rewatch this broadcast, you can check us out on YouTube at the Affairs of the Heart podcast. We are live there now, but you can also go back and watch it later and share it with your friends. And then subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Or you can go actually to the podcast and find out why we got here.
Yeah.
Because this is the reason we
subscribe
the after show of the podcast. So
right, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share and set the bell notification so you know when we're coming live on Thursdays. Let's see, we got one more comment. All right, Brandon says amazing topics, amazing questions, amazing commentary. Great job, you too. Thank you, B. We gotta have you on as a guest, Brandon. We'll work that out.
Let me do that because for our lives, we do plan on having like a guest every week, right? And it does that. You don't have to really do anything special, right? Is that what we talked about?
No, you don't have to do anything special.
Yeah, someone who listens to the podcast to come on, like just go over, do the after show with us and talk about what you thought about it or whatever. If you feel strongly about something we talked about that week, you hit us up, let us know. We can put you on the live with us on Thursday nights.
Yeah, if you want to join in the conversation with us live on Thursdays, you have the potential to do so, but you got to write in and let us know.
And you got to
again go to right, and you got to listen to the podcast. You can't just hop on and be like, okay, what we talking about?
So we will cut you off.
You got to listen to the podcast to know we're right. Next, okay. Brandon said, "Let me know I am there. We will certainly. I'll reach out to you.
We got a spot open for next week. Just listen to the podcast next week. We got you."
Right. Kelly says, "I'm short, so pictures always look like I'm hiding something." Right. All right, we're gonna hop into our sex topics for this week. There's not that many, but we'll make it work. So,
but you know what's funny though? Before you segue into this, the podcast has really been our life transitions, right?
Indeed.
So, when we were like single people, we talked more about sex. And I think because we've explored into relationships, like the relationship part has become longer than the sex part.
Right. So now we don't really have much to talk about. So if y'all got sex topics that y'all want to talk about,
let us know.
Bring them in. Let us know because we don't have none. It's not a lot. Our first sex topic is so long. I'll wait till it comes back around. Actually, I can read it from here. If we date, please be ready for weekly or monthly reassurance talks and open discussions because I be really needing to know if I can improve in any areas. Okay, question mark.
We're not into the sex topics yet.
That's not sex topics.
No, basically what it means is, do you have weekly or monthly reassuring talks with your partner? Like, do you basically sit down and say, "Hey, let's check in"? Is that?
I'm not going to say monthly. I'm not going to say monthly or weekly. I would say monthly, not every month.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe every other month. It's kind of like, hey, are you good? Is there anything we need to talk about? Did I, how you feeling? You can gauge energy and personality, but we're not doing this every week.
Yeah,
we're not having this conversation every week. I think if we're good, we're good.
again, I think it's also boils down to maturity. You should be able to say, hey, you said something and or did something that made me uncomfortable. Let's have the conversation.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think I said on the podcast, I feel like it's very invasive for me.
You just don't like talk about your feelings.
It feels like the rent is due. Like, okay, it's the person I'm love. Like, what the fuck's wrong this time? Like, I just, I enjoy it, but I want to do it when we feel like something's wrong, or even if something is good, talk about it. But
yeah,
I don't want to like schedule a time where like on the 1st we're going to do this, or on the 15th we're going to do this, because it feels like an obligation versus something that's coming from the heart.
Right. And I agree with that. It doesn't have to be like there's something wrong. Maybe things are right. Maybe you're having, everything is good. And you just want to check in to make sure that the person that you are with is good. Just check in. Check-ins are good to make sure the pulse of the relationship is beating healthily.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So now we can hop into the raunchy, nasty, dirty sex conversation.
Is this actually a sex topic?
Yes, it is. I had that one misplaced. So our first sex topic: have you ever had sex so good you lost control of your emotions? Crickets. I've never cried. No, I've never been emotional during a sexual act to the point where I cried.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen, but it's never happened.
I think I said on the podcast, I don't think that I ever cried or got emotional during sex, but it has changed my emotions about the relationship.
Good or bad or indifferent?
It depends on the relationship.
Right.
But I mean, I think if the attraction was there, we've really been connecting, and then we've held off on sex to a certain point. Once we have sex, that kind of seals the deal for me.
Yeah. For those that don't listen to the podcast, I think, they would know, or those that do listen to the podcast, they would know that you are, very sexually driven when it comes to that kind of connection. So, and I would agree, it can be emotional. It could be emotional, but it's not, for me, it's not something that draws like tears or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
No. All right.
This is why the sex part didn't last this week. Really
we were just like, nah.
No, we did this. It's over. No. Okay, yeah.
The next question: have you ever nutted in someone that told you not to? Yeah, guilty.
I think I talked about if I topped, I have, because I guess there's no way I could have, but if
unless you were going to tell me something I didn't know.
But I think I said that I did, because knowing if I'm topping, I'm extremely attracted to the person, so I'm going to confess. So that was just that whole situation.
Yeah, I had a whole Peter Griffin moment. Guilty. That was. Yeah, I have. I'm sorry. Sorry to this man. I'm so sorry.
We could probably wrap it up from here.
We got one more.
Oh, okay, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Do you consider watching porn a form of cheating? Why or why not? This was probably the longest conversation that we had in our sex topics this week. Again, I think it boils down to maturity. I don't think, and again, a conversation between you and the person. No, I don't think it's a form of cheating.
And I think this is where we didn't agree on, I think, because I don't really know my partner really watching porn like that. Like, I don't think it's cheating, but if you're watching porn more than we having sex, that's a problem for me.
Well, and I think you made a valid point in regards to your experience in your relationships, where you were saying that there was
so much porn.
Yes, really, which is probably why you don't like it.
Well, probably why I don't like it now, because there was so much porn going on that at that time, like in this time now, like if you watch a porn, I'm trying to figure out, are you trying to get attracted to me because of the porn? Or are you watching porn because you're addicted to porn? Or you just watch it because you want to jack off? I just want to have sex at this point.
Yeah. It can be completely misleading if you don't have a conversation regarding it or what it is. A couple of comments that came in. Q said, disgusting. That was probably to the nutting in someone without telling comment. Question, rather. Brandon said he pleaded the fifth. I'm assuming that's also for the nutting in someone. Yep, that's fine. Brandon also says, sometimes porn keeps you from cheating. Very true.
I hate that answer. I hate that answer. Because I don't feel like porn keeps you from cheating.
Why not?
Because if you want to cheat, you're going to cheat. How is watching porn going to stop you from cheating? Are you making the porn?
It could be a filler in the aspect of you know, I'd rather watch porn and do what I need to do or handle what I need to handle as opposed to going out and looking for someone to handle it with.
Why does it come down to that? Like, I feel like the last resort. Like, it's almost like if I can't do what I'm gonna do with this person, but I'm gonna still come home to you kind of situation. I guess I hear that.
No, well, that's not what was said. I mean, I can understand the perspective of.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it just doesn't seem. It seems like we at the bottom of the barrel at this point when I see that, and it's not from just him saying that. I've heard this a lot, and it's like, why are you to the point where porn is the part that's going to stop you from cheating?
I think you're looking at it from the perspective of the porn is the be all end all, the end resort before you cheat. Mm-hmm. But I think from the perspective of someone that might watch it, I think it then boils down to that they're watching it so that they don't have the urge to go out elsewhere to do something else. Not necessarily that the porn is stopping them from doing it, but it's a safety net for them not to do other things. It gives them the option. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, maybe Brandon can give some insight if you want to share.
I want to post this like tomorrow when, you know, people are out doing stuff on social media and really get some answers to this, because it really bothers me to hear this, because again, it's just like, it just seems like we're at the end of the relationship at this point. Like, this is what's stopping me from cheating. If it's a possibility, because you may not want to have sex, I'm gonna watch porn and the solution. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. But that's
maybe you can ask. I think Brandon threw in some clarity. So give me 1 second. We'll go back to Damien's comment. Brandon said, if you need to relieve sexual tension that can't be handled, in my case, when I'm on the road and can't get to my partner but have a sexual urge, then it helps.
But I mean, there's so many different ways for you to do stuff with your partner in 2020 without porn.
No. But what he's saying is if he's, for example, because he's a singer and he's an artist and he's on the road,
right?
He would rather, being on the road and touring, he would rather watch porn to do what he needs to do, as opposed to maybe looking for somebody in a respective city that he's touring in because he can't get to his partner.
FaceTime your partner and like y'all do it. I mean, you're still watching. I mean, y'all can sext. Like, there's so many different things you can do before porn is the reason to stop you from cheating. I think the wording may be wrong. I don't know.
Porn can be an alternative, maybe stop you. I think you're stuck on stop you from cheating.
Yeah, that's
but it can be an alternative to, yeah, I think that's where, okay, I can understand that. Let's go back to some of the comments we might have missed. Damien said, one dude told me actually that as long as porn is playing, he's not cheating.
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like, why is it,
you know, okay. I mean, Q said, I guess condoms are obsolete. Now,
he's talking about the person.
Yes. And I will say this, Q, we are not advocates for, you know, unprotected sex. I mean, we make sure that we tell people to be protected and etc. But you also have to take into consideration that these are real life experiences and conversations that we have that come into our inboxes from our. Some people are in relationships. I mean, you know, we're not advocating for people to go out and sleep with people unprotected and etc. We are big advocates for sexual health and making sure that you are protected and well. So just let's be clear. But we also talk about real experiences and what people are actually doing out in these streets. We're not, you know, I mean, we cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that there are people that are having unprotected sex. So I understand, yes, but we are pro health, sexual health, and that's why we have these conversations.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I can understand it from both perspectives. I think you have that obviously that's a trigger for you. It bothers you a little bit.
I mean, you can't come to me and say, babe, I don't cheat on you because I watch porn. I got so many questions. I got so many questions because we can end this today. This is the only
Let me ask you a question. Was that something like you mentioned on the podcast that your first relationship was very porn heavy, which is probably the reason why you don't watch porn?
Never said that to me at all. Never.
He never said that to you. Okay.
Never, ever. Because I'd have been like, first of all,
Miss Thang, did you turn into Monica just then? Did you just turn into Miss Thang?
I'm gonna kick down your doors and smack the porn. Like
oh man. So we get it.
I don't feel like
porn to some people.
Anything. But Taj, you need to get a quick nut, or you need to whatever, but not to stop you from cheating. I think that's horrible to say.
Okay, is that on that? Are we ready to?
That's that. Yeah.
That's that on that. All right, guys. Make sure that you. Brandon's got some more comments for you. So hang on. We want to make sure we throw those in. It helps. We got that. I've been in a relationship where talking. Go ahead.
I've been in a relationship where talking about sex, phone sex, sexting, FaceTime sex weren't an option. My partner wasn't into it. So I was in a position where the only way I could handle those urges while away was watching porn. Okay. But I mean, I understand that. But if you ended that with, so I watched porn so I didn't cheat on him, then now I would have an issue with that still. So, that's it.
That's that on that. Damien said it's the mouth pop and the occur for you, for him rather. Okay. All right, guys, we are going to wrap up this session of the Affairs of the Heart podcast live. Again, as we have said so many times, make sure you go to theaffairsoftheheartpodcast.com to like, subscribe, and share our podcast platform, whichever platform you use, whether it's iHeartRadio, iTunes, or iPodcast, or Google Play, etc. Make sure you
podcast platform you can listen to the podcast. If you guys are trying to share or re-listen to this, go on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. You go onto my Twitter page and listen to. I think it actually expired. No, actually, it didn't expire. You can go to my Twitter page or whatever. But the lives are two different things. So if you guys want to again listen, all major platforms for podcasting, we're on Affairs of the Heart podcast. If you want to watch us again, we have our after show on all YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And then if you get lost, just go to theaffairsoftheheartpodcast.com.
And where can they find you, Aaron?
They can find me at SoDebNair. That's DebNair with no O on all platforms. That is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google me. Also, if you guys need a website, hit me up. You can go to my website, aklcreations.com. I'm always promoting that. If you need websites, graphics, logos, business cards, anything, if you think of it, I can create
it. One last comment before I say where you can find me. Sometimes watching is strictly for research purposes.
Well, I'm down for that. We talked about this before. I watch for fun, not to get on.
You watch for laughs because you were laughing about somebody about to fall out of the hot tub.
Well, that's why they was fucking. Okay, I get it.
You like to watch because you want to see the silly shit. You want to see somebody fall out of a hot tub, or you want to see
onto the dick. Like, oh, okay, that's why I got onto the dick.
Ridiculous. I'm Dwayne Q. You can find me on Instagram as Dwayne Q, or Facebook as Dwayne Queen. You can also check out my multimedia production and event management company, Swank Arts and Entertainment, on IG at swankartsent.com, or Swank Arts ENT on IG, or you can check out swankartsent.com for more information about my social media platforms as well. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for joining in with us tonight on the Affairs of the Heart Podcast Live. Make sure when you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we're live. And make sure you hashtag us AOTH Podcast when you continue the conversation once we log off. All right, we are out of here. Aaron?
I'm out. Love y'all.
Later.
We'll be with you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.